Warm welcome in absentia to our principal, Dr. Satish Karnat sir, our vice principal, Ramesh PL sir, and the HOD of our Commerce Department, Professor Aparna Joshi ma'am. And finally, our honors guest speaker, Professor Jiran Jacob Matthew. Today, we have a workshop called Workshop on Interview Skills in association with International School of Business and Management. Every student here today is in some sort of doubt with what we should do next. Is it masters or pursuing career? What kind of career that is best suited for you? And how are we going to crack that interview? Becomes the next worry for everyone here. Today in this workshop, we're going to tackle that head down and remove those doubts and worry. In this workshop with our distinguished guest, speaker Professor Jiran Matthew, who holds his master's in English literature from IIT Madras, who undertakes communication and professional skills at IS, International School of Business and Management, who is committed in using experience-based strategies to equip us with effective communication skills, to enable us to be better prepared tomorrow when we go to our interviews and when we go for our jobs. So in this endeavor, let us welcome our speaker, Professor Jiran, to take this floor, and we'll start with the workshop. Thank you.
Am I audible? Great. Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. I'm from Bangalore myself, and National College is it's a very famous, very well-known, reputed college. So it's a pleasure to be here and speaking to the students of National College. Very thankful to the management of the college and the Department of Commerce specifically for this opportunity. Hopefully this session will be helpful for you, and I'll also learn from you as well. Right? We are always learning. Every day we continue to learn. A teacher, student, doesn't matter. Right? Lifetime learners, that's what we are. Anyway, let me get an idea of who I'm speaking to. Okay? All of you are commerce students? First year? Final year. All of you final year commerce students. Great. So what are your plans? How many of you are going for MCOM? MCOM? Masters? No one? How many of you are going to start working? Want to work immediately after? Oh, wonderful. Great. And so further studies in general, how many of you? Not MCOM, but you want to do a master's after this. What do you want to do? MBA? No? Some of you. How many of you MBA? Great. How many of you want to do something else? Yes. Company secretary. Oh yes. CA, CS. How many of you here? Great. Wonderful. Okay. So now I have a basic idea of who I'm speaking to, what I should be focused on. So anyway, most of you, how do I get to my screen? Yes. Right. Yeah. What you will face when you go out after your, right? There's a selection process. I'm sure most of you are aware. I'm going to repeat it for those of you who are not. This selection process will have several rounds or sections to it. The first is the aptitude test. It's your CAT, MAT, IMA, whatever. Right? You have to write all those, you have to pass them. How many of you have already written your CAT this year? No? Fine. So you have the aptitude test, which is followed by your performance in GDs. Usually, most MBA colleges have this. They have a GD round. Some companies also do this. They have a GD round. If they have a lot of candidates, they shortlist them using a GD, followed by a personal interview, a PI round, right? Your qualifying marks will play a role there. When you're sitting for an interview, when you're applying for your aptitude test, your qualifying marks also plays a role. This is the basic structure, okay? Whether you're sitting for a job interview, a job selection process, you're sitting for your higher studies, doesn't matter. This is the basic procedure that you will all have to go through inevitably sometime in your life. So today, I'm going to be focusing on how you can perform better for your GD round and your PI round. Most of us, when we are preparing for our further studies, for MBA in particular, we focus on our CAT. We have CAT coaching all over the place, right? From when I was a kid, I've seen CAT coaching centers. a lot of effort and time is put into preparing for our aptitude test, because if you want to get into an IIM or one of the best B schools in India, you need to get 90 plus at least. So getting that cutoff, people slog. But the thing about aptitude test is there's very little skill involved in acing an aptitude test. It's more or less practice. You do enough aptitude tests, you will end up acing it at the end of the day. That's what it is, right? But the next 2 rounds, which is where they actually finalize who they are selecting, that involves a little bit of work, in the sense that you can't start preparing for your GD and PI after you've passed your aptitude test. It's too late. You need to start now. Because acing these rounds involve building certain competencies, certain qualities, certain skills that you have to showcase, right? All these, the reason why they're holding these rounds is why? Why do they hold an interview or a GD round? Can anyone tell me? Yeah, competency. What competency are they looking for? Yeah, what skills? What skills? Communication skills, of course, definitely. Thank you. What else? Knowledge, domain knowledge is important. That is something that they test for. Not in the GD, but in the PI round, definitely there will be domain-based questions. What else? How do you tackle? Tackle what? Okay, so situation-based questions, right? So you're given a situation, how will you tackle it? How will you solve problems? How will you take decisions? Yes, great. What else? Experience, yes. Who you are is based on your experiences, not just your professional experience, but we are the sum of our life experiences. That is what makes us our personality. So yes, that is tested. Convincing people with our point. In GD especially, that's important. In PI as well. Good. So these are common competencies. I don't know if you can see the final point. So communication skills, up there, right? Ability to think on your feet. When you're put in a stressful situation, how do you react? How do you respond when you're given unexpected cases or unexpected situations? Your thinking and articulation. How well do you process information? How do you think? How do you articulate what decisions you've taken or what points you have to make? Divergent thinking. Can you think outside the box? I'm sure you've heard that before, thinking outside the box. Then the last 3 points, I'm not sure whether you can see it. One is competitiveness. How competitive are you? How ambitious are you? How much do you want to succeed in life? See, the thing about most corporate companies, your individual success directly translates to profits for the company. Right? If you're a marketing guy, you're successful in your marketing job, you're making money for the company. If you're a finance guy, you're great at your finance job, you're saving money for the company. So if you have a thirst for personal success, companies want that. They want people who want to succeed, who are ambitious. They want people who are assertive. Assertiveness is an integral part of being a leader. As a manager, an MBA is, when you get an MBA or further down as a CA or a CS, you become a leader. A manager is a leader. When you're leading a company or a team or a group, you are a leader. You're taking decisions. You have to be assertive. How do you show that assertiveness through these rounds? How do you showcase, and of course, finally, high energy. It's, personality development is something that a lot of us have gone through from school. How do you develop your personality? How do you, body language, this. How do you show energy when you're sitting in front of a panel? How do you show them that you want to work for that company or you want to join that college? That you want to be there? Right? How do you showcase these competencies adequately so that the selection panel says, okay, I want this person? That's what I would be focusing on today, primarily. Right? And how to build these competencies from now itself. What can you do to develop competencies for this? Now, for those of you who are not aware, a GD is basically 10 to 12 minutes long, right? Um, each group will have about 10 or 12 people. There's a single topic that is given to the whole group, and there's little to no moderation. Depends on whoever's conducting the GD, but usually there is no moderation. It's not like, okay, now it's your turn to speak. Speaker 3 is your turn to speak. Nothing like that. There is no moderation, usually. Okay? So, and that's how I usually run my mock GDs as well. It's easier to perform in a GD with moderation. It's more difficult when there is no moderation. When no one is saying, okay, you've spoken enough, get someone else a chance to speak. Okay? From your perspective, it can be broadly divided into 3 categories. There is the initiation, there's the discussion itself, and there's the conclusion. Okay? I'm going to give you an example of this. Can I have 8 volunteers? 8 people. Just raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some girls? 6, 7. One more person? Girls are not. Anyone else? 1/8 person. Okay, 7 people. Come ahead. Just pull those chairs, and if you can sit in a row here, just in front. Pull those chairs from there. Here. Okay. Great. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay? I need my phone so I can time you. I'm going to give you a topic. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think about the topic. What are you going to say? Okay? And then I'm going to start the GD. I'm going to give you 6 minutes. Usually it's 10 or longer, but since we are in the middle of a session, I'm going to give you 6 minutes to speak about what you want to speak on the topic. Okay? I'll give you an indication when it's the last minute, and then I'll end at 6 minutes. So 2 minutes where you can prepare, 6 minutes of discussion, and after the 5-minute mark, I will give you an indication, okay, 1 minute left. Okay? That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to moderate. I'm going to leave it up to you. You can use the mic, or you can speak without the mic as well. Can someone please speak loudly? Yeah, you're able to hear them? Yeah, fine, because it'll be difficult to pass the mic around, right? Okay, the topic is very simple. The topic is success. Success. Okay, everyone got the topic? 2 minutes, think about what you want to say. Just prepare. In your mind, think about what you would like to say. Okay, that's usually how a GD is done. You're given a topic. After you're given a topic, you're given some time to prepare. Take notes or, order your thoughts in your mind so that you can perform for the GD. That's how it's usually done, right? So, topic is success. What can you talk about success? Like, you guys also think about it. If you were sitting there, what would you say about success? Successes. Don't give them points. Think about it in your mind. What would you say if you were on stage? If you were in that GD, how would you respond? What points would you think to add to the discussion? I'm going to give you one more instruction. This is a group discussion, not a group debate. Okay? So the aim of a group discussion, imagine the group discussion as a simulation of a team meeting. You're working for a company, your team has come together to discuss a problem or a point in particular, some decision to be taken. How would that discussion happen? A GD is a simulation of that, right? So an argument does not help the progress of a discussion. The aim is to come to a conclusion. You should always approach a GD with that mentality. Not that you should just sit quietly and not say anything, because 70% of the time, a GD becomes an argument, okay? Especially unregulated GDs, devolve into arguments. How do you deal with that? We'll go through all of that. So, are you guys ready? Yeah? Can I have your names? Shashank, Manish, Sneha, Shravani, Devika, Abhijit, Tarun Singh, Vivekanand. Vivekanand, Tarun Singh, Abhijit, Devika, Shravani, Sneha, Manish. Okay. I won't remember your names. I'm sorry, I'm not that good with names, but at least I have something in mind. Okay. So, your 6 minutes starts now. Yeah? It's a group discussion. I've told you it's a group discussion. How are you going to, oops, how are you going to perform? Oh, it's fine, don't worry. No? I told you this topic is for everyone, right?
Success is what we get after many failures. So success is not a very easy thing. Like we go through many mental pressure, physical pressure to attain any kind of success. Might be academic, might be sports, in the field of sports, might be in the field of musical. So success is which looks very easy, okay, but it is very tough to attain that success.
Can we use the mic? Yeah.
It's a path for our life where we can get settled and we do get a lot of ups and downs. Which is necessary for the success.
Success doesn't come with giving the best, but success comes with giving what it takes, what all it takes.
I think from what Vivekananda is telling, I think his background is completely NCC. So I would say that his experience for success comes from his repeated work and labor he's put into it. And I would say success majority comes from hard work. The work you do, the work that you put in behind the scenes and on spot determines your success rate. And for him, it should be repeatedness or doing it again and again to perfect his stance or perfect his material. And in a work situation or in a personal life, having that kind of repeated work makes you perfect. I think that is what translates into success.
According to me, success is something like, it's not like the goals we achieve, okay? Because there will be few goals which will be accomplished in the end. So it's like, okay, fine, I'm satisfied with my work, that's known as success. Because, okay, even Steve Jobs have left many, like, have many dreams. Even Nikola Tesla had many books to do some work. They all were accomplished in the end, but success, he felt that, okay, this first task I have completed with the proper notes or proper thing, like I'm success in this event. Okay, the next target. This I have completed today. Today's was very perfectly completed. So okay, I'm successful. So that's how we think regularly in every day. And again, make a plan for the next day. That's, I think, according to me, success is. Okay.
So, my fellow candidate Tarun Singh stated that about our limits. So, though we keep our aims very high, we also prepare our strategy, which is not actually happening, which is like a fairy tale. Like we keep a goal, we suddenly start up putting too much of pressure on us. We just don't go gradually. We don't take things gradually. We start taking things very, like, we take overload whatever we do. Like for example, exams, we study a day night before, right? So it's, that's where we get too much of load. So if we start preparing from past 1.5 months, we might end up in a good we might end up getting good marks.
One thing I want to say that when I have attended this my camp, NCC camp, like RDC, something 6 months. So in the end, we'll be getting selected. Okay, out of 60,000, only something 108 will be selected. So if I'll be thinking about the end result, then what about like who will think about the present? I should get selected today and again next tomorrow. So I should prepare for today. So okay, today I got successful in my sufficient task. So that's how, like, second, third, fourth, fifth day, and 10th day, okay, fine, complete with this task. So that's how, like, I may say everyone make to-do task for everyone. So that's how you feel, okay, fine, I'm doing something good every day. So that's how I say, I think. So what about you?
So, like Tarun said, maybe putting in the effort right now rather than at the end seems somewhat different. But I would say that, you know, having end goal at heart, end goal at mind would motivate you much better to achieve that success rather than just planning it out. People just, you know, look into the, just look at the path, but they don't see the end. That just demotivates them to do anything at that point.
As we have heard, there's so many success stories and all, and very inspiring and motivated. But this success is a destination. But for my business, success is not a destination. Success is a journey. Is there a joke going on here?
Focus on the GD. Focus on the GD. Focus on the GD. Please, guys, let them speak. Okay? You're all audience. You're not participating in the GD either. Please continue. Please continue. Yeah.
So success is not a destination. Success is a journey. There are many more in the we have to do in this world. Like
Okay, 1 minute
anything.
left. Guys. Yeah. Please continue. 1 minute left.
According to me, the main success is we should have some aim in our life. So we have to start doing over it. Life gives us ups and downs, many lots of things. But we have to look towards the success, and finally we'll achieve our hard work's success.
So everyone said now success is today, tomorrow and all. But the main thing is we have to focus on the goal, determination and hard work. If we have this tree and all, success will automatically come. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And time's up. Time's up. Thank you. Please give them a round of applause. All of you. Yes, you wanted to say something? Huh. Thank you. And I agree with you, yes. Now, before I ask you what you think success is, I would like to ask you what they said success is. What were the points that they brought up? Hard work. Who said hard work? No, among them, who said hard work? Manish. Okay, so hard work was a common theme. You need hard work to succeed. What else did they say? Yeah? Goals. Who spoke about goals? Manish spoke about goals. Okay. NCC. Yes, he spoke about NCC as well. He spoke about ups and downs. Who spoke about ups and downs? Shashank. Shashank spoke about ups and downs. What else? Yeah? Inspiration and journey. Who? Huh? Destination and journey. Yes. Yes. Success is not a destination, it is a journey. It's a very famous quote about success, that even once you succeed, it doesn't mean that you've succeeded for the rest of your life. You have to continue creating new goals, setting new, destinations for yourself, continue the journey, right? So you remember some of the things that some people said, but I got a few names. Shashank's name came up, Tarun's name came up. Why did they stand out? Why did they stand out? They spoke more. Tarun especially, he contributed the most. I think of the 6 minutes I had given, Tarun spoke for more than 2 minutes. Right? 1/3 of the time he took up. No, don't clap. It's not a good thing. Okay. What is your name? Abhijit. Abhijit also spoke for a long time. I think there was one section where he spoke for a full minute flat. And your name? Vivekanand also did that. So between the three of them, they spoke for 4.5 minutes of the 6-minute GD. Okay? They stood out to you, yes, but to be frank, as an evaluator, none of the points that they brought up really stood out. I did the exact same GD for my students a month back. Okay? So similarly, like this, they were seated. One person started speaking about, to be successful, you need hard work. It's a common theme that came up. You need hard work, you need determination, you need this. Next person took up and said, yes, to be successful, you need to work very hard. You need to really put your mind to it. You need to work every day. And then from the side, one girl just spoke up and said, and you need luck. And you need luck. That's all she said. Okay? The fourth person, no, that's not true. You don't need luck for success. And they said, why do you say that? Unless we are lucky, we won't be able to find success. Yes, hard work is important, but luck is equally important. Unless you're lucky, you won't be successful. Right? The remaining GD, that was an 8-minute GD. In the first minute, she brought up the luck point. The remaining 9 minutes was her arguing with the other 7 people about whether luck is important or not. She was the MVP of the GD because her point stood out. Almost everyone said the exact same things. Right? It was, how do you attain success? There were some divergent points. That success, one person spoke about how success is not just about achieving something. Right? So, but put that point forward forcefully. How do you make what you're saying, right? There were 8 people here. There are 8 people here. How do you stand out from the 8 people? When you're actually going for a GD round, there will be 10 or 12 people in your group, not just 8. And it'll be a 10-minute GD, not just 6. So in those 10 minutes, how will you stand out? What do you do to make your points stick in the mind of the evaluator? I'm the evaluator here. You are also evaluators in the sense, generally, right? How do you stick in the minds of the evaluator? What do you do to show them that you stand out from the crowd? Thank you, guys. I'll call some of you back again. Please, thank you. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Right. If you remember, I divided the GD into 3 groups: initiation, discussion, and conclusion. If you remember, once the GD started, it took about 40 seconds for them to figure out, okay, what do we do now? Who's going to speak? They're looking at each other. That's not what you do when you initiate a GD. When you are sitting for a GD, try your best to initiate, to be the first person to speak. You've all heard the term, don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah? What does it mean? What does the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover mean? Never judge anyone by the outer appearance, by your first impression. We all fail at doing that. It's been scientifically proven that first impressions matter. First impressions matter. How you portray yourself in the first few minutes determines how the evaluator sees you. Especially in an interview, it's important. In the first 2 minutes, the panel has decided whether they like you or not. In the first 2 minutes. If they like you, the chance of you getting hired goes up exponentially. If you don't, the chance of you getting hired goes down. Right? First impressions matter. So if you initiate the discussion, if you start talking about the topic, there's a good chance you'll stick in the minds of the evaluator. Especially if you make good points. There are strategies on how to initiate well. And one thing to remember, this was an abstract GD topic, success. You don't need to know anything about success. You don't need theories, formulas, nothing. Here, what is important is what you believe success is for you. You're stating your own. There can also be GD topics which are topic-based, that is domain-based. Something like cryptocurrency. Or India being president or hosting the G20 summit. You're aware that India is hosting the G20? Yes. That could be a topic. Something in current affairs, or something to do with business topics in general, something about the economy, right? not specific to your subjects, but broadly business, economy, current affairs, world politics, things like that can be topical, right? Domain-based topics. In that case, you need to know what you're talking about. If the topic is cryptocurrency, you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, don't initiate, right? Because, like I said, first impressions matter. If you are speaking first very confidently and you say something absolutely wrong, you're creating a wrong first impression, right? There are certain strategies. The thing about initiation is, for example, the person who spoke first started speaking about what is needed for success. How do you attain success? So a lot of the GD here also was talking about how to attain success. There were a few points which people who tried to define what success is and all of that, but it was mostly about hard work, goal setting, time management. Those were the broad topics that were discussed. So if you initiate, you can determine the direction of the discussion. If you know something about a topic very, very well, and you initiate and throw the discussion in that direction, there's a good chance the remaining discussion will follow that track. Which means you're safe in the sense that the discussion is following what you know. You have the chance to determine the direction of the discussion. Second, some of the competencies that you have to showcase to be noticed. Initiation shows assertiveness, confidence. You know who you are and you're confident speaking in front of a group, right? All these things are qualities that you can show by initiating. And how do you initiate? Certain techniques that you can use, right? You can, very common thing is you can use a quote, right? Controversy as a marketing strategy, if that is the GD topic, right? You can say something like, there is no such thing as bad publicity. All publicity is good publicity. It's a very common quote, very common saying, right? Something about, so a quote is a very, very simple, easy way of starting a GD. And still impactful. It shows that you know what you're talking about, right? Or you could start with a definition. Again, very easy, simple way of speaking about things. If the topic is the central bank digital currency, which is currently the RBI is in the process of rolling it out, what is currency? It's a very digital currency. Don't even start with digital currency. Start with currency. Set the base, right? A very simple definition. What is currency? It's a medium of exchange. Right? Once you set that base, once you set the foundation for the discussion, you've determined where the discussion is going, what is the significance of currency. Even if you don't know what digital currency is, you can initiate by talking about the definition for currency. Right? So a very simple way of doing it is to start with the definition. Another way is to start with a question. Questions, especially rhetorical, open-ended questions, are a great skill to have to inculcate and to showcase in a GD. Because by asking the right questions, you can determine where the discussion is going. If the topic is capital punishment, right? A question like, is capital punishment actually effective in controlling crime? How many people do we know who have been wrongly convicted? So you're taking a stance. You're saying, I am against capital punishment. And you're asking a question, so you're encouraging discussion. Like I mentioned, this is not a GD, a debate or an argument. You don't win by speaking at the expense of other people. You have to speak. You have to speak enough times. You have to make yourself heard. But at the end of the day, there are other competencies that you need to show, and a question is a great way of showing that, of fostering discussion. Teamwork, the ability to work in teams. You can showcase that in a GD by encouraging people to speak. How many people? There were 2 people who didn't speak at all. Hardly spoke. So one of the people who were actually speaking a lot took the initiative, hey, this is what I believe. But what do you have to say? Right? You have made your points. The 3 of them had established themselves as the standout performers of the GD. So taking the time to foster discussion, encourage teamwork, would make one person stand out among the 3, because it showed an additional competency, right? Story. In my communication class, I keep telling people, one of the core skills that a communicator needs to have is the ability to tell stories. From the moment humans started using language, we started saying stories. It's part of our DNA. Okay? Your message is very powerful if you are putting it as part of a story. So start with a small story. Need not be a story. It could be an anecdote. It could be when you're talking about success. You can talk about someone you know personally who achieved success because of some quality they have. Right? So start with a story. It's a very powerful way of initiating. Then general shock statements. Right? This is not a definition. This is you taking a stand, but taking a stand in a powerful way. Instead of saying, I think that this is what this is. Stay very emphatically. Right? So, role of media, you say, without a strong media, we cannot be called a democratic nation. Or the topic is caste census, right? No matter what we try to say, do, caste is a factor in our society. It's a powerful statement. It's a shocking statement. You don't say something just to start fights, but you state a shocking statement to sort of establish what you stand for and what you're trying to convey. Right? Again, a good way of starting a GD. And then we come to discussion. Discussion, there are these 6 things that you need to be aware of, right? 1, speak well, that we've established, communicate well. But even more importantly is listen. Listening is equally important to being a good communicator as speaking. When you listen to your teammates, to your, your fellow competitors, you are paying attention to what is being said. When you listen, you can counter them point by point. Instead of just saying what you want to say, you will be fostering a discussion. In this case, each person had their own points. They all knew what they wanted to say. Whenever they got a chance to speak, they said what points they had already prepared. They did not discuss with each other. Very rarely did they do that. And only in one context, someone actually referred to something another person had said. There was no discussion there. It was just small speeches, elocutions, while sitting in a group. Discussion is different. How do you foster it? So listening is very important. Where is the discussion going? I've seen this happen many times. It didn't happen this time, right? So it's a big group. The topic is about cricket in India. So people they were talking about India's performance in the World Cup. And the topic moves on, recent India's performance. But someone will come and say something about the World Cup out of nowhere. They were following the discussion when the discussion was about the World Cup. Then they're like, okay, what do I say? Okay, I need to say this about the World Cup. I need to talk about Kohli's performance. They'll be thinking about it so much, they will not be listening to the discussion. The discussion would have moved on. And then they will sit up and say, okay, I want to say this. It's very evident to the evaluator that you're not following the discussion. And you're disrupting the flow of the discussion, not contributing to the discussion itself. So be careful with that. Listen. Lead. Show leadership when you do that, right? Be concise. Okay, I'll come to all of this in time. First, listen attentively. Be aware of where the discussion is going. Keep track of who is saying what. This is important for 2 things. 1, to counter or support specific points. Second, so you don't repeat what someone else has said. That happened a couple of times here, right? Some points were mentioned already. You just repackaged it in your own words and said it. That's not being effective. So be aware of what is being said. Speak effectively. Speaking effectively involves a few things. 1, speak for short periods of time. In a 10-minute GD, don't speak for up to a minute or a minute and a half at a time. Speak for a maximum of 30 seconds, 35 seconds. That's it. But speak more often. Right? Speaking for 2 minutes at a time and then not speaking at all, the people will forget that you spoke. Yes, he spoke for a long time, but probably don't remember what he said. But instead, during the 10-minute round, if you speak 5 or 6 times, each time for 20, 30 seconds, then you're in the mind of the evaluator as someone who actively contributed to the discussion because you were active throughout. And each time you speak, stick to one point. I'll repeat this point again when I say be concise. some of you, when you started speaking, you had one point, you moved on to a second point, then to a third point. So we lost track of what you said first, and we didn't give enough importance to those points. Some of your points stood out, but if you focused on a point every time you spoke, give that point importance, state what your stand is, 2 or 3 supporting arguments, or 2 or 3 supporting sentences, that's enough. Then let someone else speak, then come back. Support your earlier statement. Someone may disagree with you, then you will have to support it. Or you may disagree with someone else, right? And when you disagree, provide or agree, whatever, provide analysis. Instead of just stating facts, provide what you believe it is, right? What your opinion is. How is it important? Reading is very important for this. Following editorials and things like that, you get arguments from different perspectives on important topics, on the burning issues of today. So providing different perspectives on the topic always will give you bonus points. Be creative. I mentioned using stories and anecdotes. That's a creative way of expressing yourself. You shouldn't lump yourself into an acceptable way of expression. If you have your own style of speaking, stick to that. I had a student who loves rap, and he concluded the GD with a rap. He got through the round. Okay, so be creative. It's never a problem. Lead the conversation. Take initiative, right? A very simple way of doing this is when someone is going off track. It didn't happen this time, but someone is going off track, right? If the topic is India-Pakistan relations, and someone is going on and on about the recent India-Pakistan match, that is going off track. So you have every right to say, hey, this is not what the topic is about. Let's come back to the discussion. We need to talk about the role of the Pakistani military in India-Pakistan relations. That is showing leadership, right? Use rhetorical questions, use bold statements, take initiative in pushing the discussion. And one thing I'd like to focus on here is body language. How did you sit when you were in the GD? Were you like relaxed? Were you sitting up, sitting straight, leaning forward a little to show that you're actively involved in the discussion? Were you closed off? Were you sitting with your arms crossed? Did you have your fingers? This happens a lot, right? You sit and you interlace your fingers and you sit. It's a defense mechanism. You're protecting yourself. You know, when we are nervous about speaking, our body doesn't recognize why we are afraid or nervous. Instinctually, we are nervous because of like when we were cavemen, we were afraid when someone was attacking. Some animal is attacking us, we are afraid. So instinctually, we'll protect ourselves. It's a bodily instinctual reaction. Open up, right? This keeping your arms free helps you be more expressive when you speak. When you want to emphatically state a point, naturally your arm will move out. If you're interlaced, you're constricting yourself. Body language, very important even in a GD. It's even more important in an interview, but in a GD also it's important. Yeah, be concise. Stick to your point. Don't go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Another aspect of being concise is being very aware of what you want to say. Who was the person who was sitting right here? Vivekanand, yes, thank you. Your final point, when you spoke for quite a bit of time, but there was no clarity in exactly what you wanted to say. You knew what you wanted to say, but you were not able to convey exactly what yes. Be concise, right? Very, very, very important in a GD. Yeah. Finally, which was not a problem at all this time, except for one instance, be calm and polite. It's not a debate, not an argument. Right? Be calm, be polite. This was actually a very tame GD. Most of the GDs that I have seen are argumentative. Because there was a mic to pass around, no one was speaking over anyone else. Everyone sat quietly. When the mic came to them, they spoke. Or they put their hand up when the mic came to them, they spoke. It is very, very rare that a GD happens like that. You all knew each other, so it was nice and comfortable. In a GD, when you're sitting for a company, usually it's with people you don't know. When you are speaking, 2 other people will be trying to speak. Or you will say something that will offend someone else and they will fight with you. This was a very, very, very polite GD, to be frank. Most GDs are not like this. Okay? You should be prepared for that. Some of you did not speak at all, despite it being a polite GD. You're getting ready to speak, but then Abhishek will be like, hey, I want to speak. He's like, okay, fine, please go ahead. Don't do that. Be assertive. When you want to say something, say it. Right? You are not going to get the mic. There's probably not going to be a mic at all. You will have to raise your voice and say what you want to say. Even if two other people are speaking with you, don't shout, but be loud enough to be heard. Make them shut up. Not by saying shut up, but going forward with your topic, with your point. Be assertive in a GD. It is extremely important that you speak up, you be heard. Even if you don't follow anything else that I've set up, when I've mentioned, you need to be assertive and speak up. But that does not mean that you argue. Right? Don't make personal. Some of you, Abhishek again, I noticed. He was like, yeah, my friend here, he's from the NSS, so that is the context with which he's talking about success, right? Don't do that. Don't speak to someone in a personal way. Focus on their points. In this case, you knew each other, it was fine. But in an actual GD, it may lead to an argument. Right? Stick to your points. Focus on each other's points. What is the aim of the discussion? Focus on that. Involve the team. I already mentioned this. Teamwork. Show teamwork. Involve everyone else. If you have spoken. If you've not spoken at all and they're like, hey, my friend Radha has not spoken, let her speak next. No. You speak first. Then show leadership and show teamwork by encouraging other people to speak. A very simple way of doing it is make a point. This is what I believe success is. I'd like to hear what you think about it. Point to someone who hasn't spoken. Right? So that is a way of showing teamwork and showing. Finally, summarization. The reason why I said, okay, 5 minutes are up, 1 minute left, is because I wanted you to summarize the GD. What is the outcome of the discussion? Are we just sitting there as a group and talking about a topic and just walking back? What is the outcome of the discussion? Usually there's no conclusion. Right? When 10 people are sitting and talking about a topic, it's very rare that everyone agrees on a final point. But you can summarize, which is again another strategy which you can use to stand out. Being the last person to speak. Be the last person to speak. And when you're doing that, don't bring in any new points. Summarize what has been said. And when you're doing that, not just the points you agree with or the points that you made, the points that everyone has made. In this GD, right, about success, we spoke about the importance of hard work, about the importance of goal setting and time management. But we also realize that success is not something that we achieve once. We have to constantly keep striving for success. That is also important. Right? And as a gentleman said, it's a state of mind, not, right? So all these points, that is summarization. Summarization is also a very effective strategy when you don't know anything about the topic. How many of you know enough about cryptocurrency to participate in a GD about it? 2 people? 3, 4, 5? The rest of you don't know hardly anything about cryptocurrency. If you get that as a topic, what do you do? Summarize. Listen for the first 2-3 minutes to what people are saying. Okay? Listen carefully to what people are saying. After that, summarize what has been said. In the 3rd minute, say, okay, in the last few minutes of the discussion, these are the points that have been raised, right? And then, if you're feeling confident, support one of those points. Say, I think this point makes a lot of sense because from my experience, this. Or I don't agree with this point because from my experience, this. You're contributing to the discussion. You may not know anything about the topic, but you're contributing. I've heard the story of someone who did not know anything about the topic. Every 2 minutes, he would summarize what happened. That's it. And he passed the GD. Okay, he just summarized what the other people said every 2-3 minutes. So he spoke, if it's a 5-minute GD, a 10-minute GD, he spoke 5 times. Right? It may not work all the time, but it may work for you as well. It's better than just sitting quiet because you don't know anything about the topic. Right? Yeah. Summarization, keep it brief, keep it concise. Be concise throughout. Okay? Type of GD topics. You will face 2 types broadly. One is domain-based, I already mentioned. These are some examples of topics you may face. You cannot prepare for a GD in the sense you learn everything or prepare for, okay, I think this topic will come in the GD. No, you don't know what topic you're going to face. Right? You can't prepare for topics, but you can prepare yourself for the type of topics you may face. Or abstract topics. Success, peer pressure. What is fame or importance? Pink is the new black. That's the topic I gave my students a few weeks back. Pink is the new black. So this should have been 2022 shape 2023, but how will 2022 shape 2023? Abstract topics like this that you will face, right? And how do you prepare? One, you read, of course, right? Reading is something that you have to do. Preferably newspapers, business newspapers. Read the editorials of various newspapers if possible. Get different perspectives, right? Second, form groups. A GD, you cannot prepare for a GD by yourself. You need to practice. And you need to practice as a group. So when you get a time, get your friends together, discuss different topics, right? Each of you research topics, come up, put it to the group, and have a mock GD. One important thing you need to practice is practicing online GDs. A lot of selection processes these days are happening online. So GDs are also happening online. And an online GD is very different from an offline GD. Here you're able to see everyone else, you're able to see body language, you know when someone is going to speak because your hand will be up, or non-visual cues you get about what the group is about. In an online GD, you can only see people's faces. And sometimes not even that if their camera is not working. It's very different. In an online GD, most of the GDs I've seen, all 10 people will be speaking at the same time. All 10 people will be speaking at the same time. Usually there'll be a lag in someone's end, so they're not able to figure out where the GD is going. So they'll just have to speak. It's crazy. So practice that as well. And also something very simple as, how do you sit in front of a camera? I don't know if you guys have noticed, the way we sit in front of a laptop while we work, if you're sitting in front of a camera and attending an online GD like that, your posture will be horrible. You have to place the camera and your chair in such a way that it frames you well. You need to be aware of that space and how you sit in front of a camera, because that's the only thing the evaluator can see. So it's important that you keep note of this, right? And of course, practice. Practicing here is not just practicing GDs. Some of you are good communicators, right? Already you've come on stage, you've spoken. Some of you may not be as good a communicator. It's just that you're a little bit behind the curve. It's not that people are born great communicators. Communication is a skill. Every single person here has the potential to be amazing communicators. Most of the great speakers of today were not just bad communicators, they had speech impediments. They had stutters. If they can overcome that to become TV personalities, why can't we become great communicators ourselves? It's a skill that you need to practice. Some of you are comfortable speaking in front of a group. Some of you are not. How many of you are comfortable speaking in front of a group? Yeah. A global survey was done. How many people are comfortable speaking in front of a group? About 70-80% said they are not comfortable, that they are nervous when they are speaking in front of a group. Yes, like that. Right? So the way you become comfortable is by contributing in a class. When you have a question to ask the teacher, ask a question. Right? That's a great way of building your skill to speak in a group. If a teacher asks a question in class, answer that question. Don't leave it to like the 2-3 people who answer questions all the time to answer. Take the initiative to answer a question. If you're not comfortable speaking in front of a group, ask questions. Set yourself, today I will ask 3 questions in class. Right? It's a good way of building practice. Now, I've mentioned what you need to do to be good GDs. Shall we test that out? I don't want the same people to come. I'll give you a different topic. One more GD, or at the end, shall we do a GD? One more in the middle? Who's going to come up? I don't want the same people. No repeats. No repeats. Any volunteers? Bah. Come. What are you nervous about? See, you're evaluated in a GD based on these criteria. Your communication skills, your energy, your articulation, your arguments, your domain knowledge, all of these are a part of criteria for evaluation. Okay? I'm going to call, if you are willing to participate in the GD, raise your hands. Otherwise, I'll pick randomly, okay, at the end of this. I'll pick randomly at the end of this. I'm telling you now itself, okay? After a GD, imagine you've cracked the GD, you've passed it. You've come to your interview. Right? Interview is very different. It's personal. You are sitting by yourself in front of a panel. And the panel is evaluating who you are. Right? Getting to know you. What is that? All of you have prepared your CVs? Your resumes? What's on your resume? Right? What skills do you have? What about your domain knowledge, the depth of your understanding? All of these will happen in a GD, in an interview. Right? And to prepare for an interview, you need something else, not a GD. You need domain knowledge. You're all BCom students, right? They'll ask you questions on what you've studied in BCom. You have to answer those questions. Not everything. They won't ask you difficult questions. What are the fundamental, important, basic things a BCom graduate should know? That you should be thorough about. Those 10, 12, 15 topics that you should know as a BCom graduate. Be thorough with that. That's all it's needed. They won't ask you some complex questions. Market yourself. You need to market who you are. Establish who you are as a person and market those skills so that you showcase your best qualities to the interviewer. Right? Research the employer or the organization you're sitting for. I've had several instances of my students who've done very well in their interview but lost out on the job because they forgot who the CEO of the company is. Right? Just 2 years back, one of my students in my college, ICICI, very, very good interview. Randomly, the interviewer asked, who is the chairman of ICICI? And blanked out. Lost the job. It happens. How do you show that you want to work for a particular organization? You do research. What qualities do they appreciate in their employees? What are the skills they are looking for? When you get the job description, go through that. What skills are required for that job? And how do you bring your skills and your qualities and showcase them in the right way such that it is the best fit for that job? Research the employers. And finally, prepare for standard questions. What are the questions you expect to get in an interview? Yeah? Tell about yourself. Yes, of course. What else? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Yes, thank you. What else? Yeah? Please. What are your skills and ability? Yes, strengths, weaknesses, skills. What salary are you expecting? Yes, you may face that as well. What else? What are the standard questions will you face? What experience do you have? 3 reasons not to select you, okay? 3 reasons not to select you, 3 reasons to select you. Why should we, if it's a campus placements, one common question is, why should we hire you over your friends? Tell me about yourself. Yes, true. What else? Family background. Okay, that may ask that. I don't know, maybe. Right? So there are these standard questions. Right? Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why MBA, PGDM, or why do you want to join for this particular job role? Right? Why do you want this job? Why do you want to join our company? Right? Tell us about a time where you faced a challenge and you succeeded. Or tell us about a time where you failed and what did you do next. Tell us about a time you did something outside your comfort zone. These are standard situational questions that you will face. You need to prepare for them. Not in the sense of you write down an answer that you will say. Keep points in mind. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? Listening skills. You are a great listener. No, that's how you put it. I am a great listener. Be confident. Don't say I am an okay listener, that's my strength. I'm a great listener. Put it that way. That's fine. What is your strength? Huh? What is your strength? Yeah. Why did you say trainer? You want to become a trainer? You are also a trainer. Wonderful. Great. What is your strength? What is your strength? What is your strength? Positive thinking. Yeah, it's a good strength to have. Right? Positive thinking. What is your weakness? Your mom is your weakness. Okay. A better way of putting it would be, I am someone who gets easily emotionally connected. It's a good way of putting it. Right? If you say that in a job interview, they're like, you let your mom take decisions here? No? Right? What is your weakness? Okay, that's a wrong answer. Never say I don't have any weaknesses. Or when they say, tell us about a time you failed, never say I have never failed. Right? Find something, don't say weakness. Find something that you want to improve. What is it that you want to improve? I want to improve listening. Talk about that. So don't say my weakness is my listening skills. Say, I want to improve my listening skills. What is your... Because I try to convince people instead of listening. Okay. So what is your New Year resolution, 2023?
So it's like the Figma thing, I should complete the course.
Okay.
And read 3 books in a month.
Okay.
And then add on it the exercise.
Yeah. So, see, you want to improve in these areas. You can show them as these are things I want to improve on when they ask you about weaknesses. Right? It's not like, oh, I am an introvert. I have terrible time management skills. Don't be brutally honest. Okay? Don't be brutally honest for an interview. You don't have to be. Right? Instead of saying, my mom is my weakness, say, emotionally attached. Instead of saying, I have no weakness, even if you strongly believe you don't have any weaknesses, talk about where you want to improve. If you feel you are an introvert, don't say you're an introvert. Say, I want to get better at interacting with people. Always showcase your weaknesses as strengths. Anyway, that's another topic. Yeah. Tell us about yourself. I think several of you said, tell us about yourself. As a common, it is true. In your life, you will definitely face this question. Okay? For some interviewer there, even if you don't face it for your immediate interview, you will face this question. How will you answer this question? Tell me about yourself. No, you. What's your name? Huh? Mudassir. Mudassir, can you please tell me about yourself? Yeah. Okay. 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 Fine. Thank you. Can you tell me about, no, you already came for the GD. Can you tell me about yourself? Yes. And I have pet dog. Thank you. Can you tell me about yourself? Yes. Yes, please. Yes? Okay. You're coming from Yellechanalli. HL. Yellechanalli. Okay. You take the metro? Metro tagotira daily. Huh? Busal bartira college. Okay, great. Okay. See, there are 2 questions you can face. Tell me about yourself. Okay? Summarize your CV. when they say, please summarize your CV for me or take me through your CV, you go through the points. Is he also a guest? He doesn't know how the door opens? Okay. Anyway, so summarize CV means you have to take them through your CV. Where do you study? Where are you from? What are your qualifications? But if it's introduce yourself, imagine you're sitting for an interview, you walked in, you've given the panel your CV. In that it is clearly written high school, +2, PUC, degree, all of that is there. There is no need for you to say those points. It's already there in your CV. Focus on who you are. What are your skills? Not just the projects you've done or the experience that you have. What are your achievements? Even before you talk about your skills. What are your achievements? These achievements could be academic, right? You could be a gold medal winner, you could be a topper. That's an achievement. It could be extracurricular, co-curricular, NCC, right? What grade are you at? That's an achievement. Talk about your achievements. It could be a personal achievement. Right? You could be a dancer, singer, whatever. Won competitions. It could be a personal achievement in the sense that you've overcome failure. Or you went through a difficult time. One of my students talks about how he got 75% in 10th. It's not a great achievement to most of us. But during his 10th standard board exams, 15 members of his family, they were going on a pilgrimage, met with an accident. He took care of them and prepared for his exams and wrote. He's very proud of that 75, 77%. That is who he is. Talk about your achievements. That's the first thing. Second, talk about your background. I mean, this is not the order in which you have to say, nor do you have to say all of these things. In an ideal introduction, I told you, don't judge a book by its cover. We all do it. Your first impression matters. Your tell me about yourself is the first question you will face. How you answer this question determines the rest of your interview. Right? So, stick to 3 points maximum. 45 seconds to 1 minute. Because anything more than that, the interviewer may stop you and ask another question. So in these 3 points, in this 1 minute, how do you put your point forward? So achievements is one thing to say, your background is another, but not just as a background. All these points that you're giving, it's not just statements of fact about yourself. It is also how you have improved and benefited because of this. One of my students spoke about how he's from a military background, because of which growing up, he inculcated self-discipline, right? Self-motivation. Those are traits that he inculcated from a very young age because of his family background. What are your hobbies? What is your hobby? Gym, physical fitness, right? Your name? Ranjan. Ranjan's hobby is, he loves working on his physical fitness. When did you start? 1 year. For the last 1 year, he has been dedicated to improving his physical fitness and becoming a trainer. It shows a dedication to goals. It shows good time management, right? It shows discipline because he has to do it every day. What is your hobby? Chess, right? Abhishek loves playing chess. It's a way for him to improve his critical thinking skills, his strategical skills, and also a way to meet new people and make friends with people who are interested in chess. What is your hobby? Drawing. What's your name? Usha. Usha is a creative person. She expresses that creativity through art. And this hobby has helped helped her develop her creativity while also helping her develop attention to detail, right? Ways of thinking outside the box and ways of, determining perspectives, looking at things from different perspectives. Those are the skills that she learned through her hobby of drawing. So what are your hobbies? And what have you learned from your hobbies? Some of you may enjoy cooking, right? I would say, my hobby is cooking. Through that hobby, I've learned how to be detail-oriented, how to follow processes, and how to bring different things together to achieve a final end product. Right? What have you learned from your hobby? What skills and qualities do you have? Are you someone who's self-motivated? The ability you don't need someone to tell you to do something, you do it yourself. Are you someone who's constantly learning? Someone who enjoys spending time with people? These are qualities that you have. Depending on your job role, you can pick and choose your qualities, which will be more attractive to the employers. These are the things that you have included in your tell me about yourself. And at the end of the day, it will be a story. Currently, I'm training a student, Sailesh. He's from Rourkela. Hindi medium school, Hindi medium college. Now he is doing an MBA at Bangalore. Wants to improve his life. And that's why I said, focus on that. Right? He's Shailesh. He's from Rourkela, lived his entire life there. His father is a truck driver. His father is a part of a large truck driving union. After his 10th, he started helping his father at the union. It gave him the experience of interacting with different kinds of people, taught him how to follow processes, how to solve problems, and how to take decisions. Now, that's just a story, right? Worked at a truck drivers union, learned all these things. Now, what will happen is, after tell me about yourself, the next question will not be the question that the interviewer has prepared. He'll be like, how did you learn solving problems at the truck drivers union? In your introduction, each point will be 2 or 3 sentences. That is not exhaustive. You are making the interviewer curious about those points. So the next question will be on that point, which you know. So what you'll include in your introduction are things that you're confident about, that you know you can speak about well. So when you include those points, you are determining the direction of the interview, not the interviewer. One of my students puts this, one of his marketing projects was on how the Congress party can become more acceptable to the people. It was a minor project. It was not a big project, but he puts it there because he knows that the moment the interviewer goes through the CV, that's an interesting project, tell me about it. That's an inevitable question he will face. How can you determine the direction of the interview? You can answer questions such that you can determine what your next question will be. But having said that, there are things that you will have to be prepared for, which is unexpected, right? I'll give you a very basic example. One of my students sitting for, I think, one of the big 4, EY, not sure which, Deloitte, one of those. Very well prepared, okay? Sat with a few of the faculty before, went there, very confidently sat down. Think about interviewers. They're very, very good at picking these subtle tells from, right? Have you learned that answer by heart and are you just vomiting in front of me? Very easy to find out for interviewers. Are you a confident person? The way you walk into the room, the way you sit down in front of the panel shows all of this. So the interviewer figured out that this girl is confident, very well prepared. So the first question he asked her is, how did your parents meet? First question, didn't even ask her her name. I mean, name is there on the CV, of course. How did your parents meet? It's not a difficult question to answer. In most of us, yeah, my grandparents introduced them. That's how they met. That's the answer most of the time. But because it was not expected, she got a little rattled. Right? Okay, wait. What was that question again? Can you repeat that, sir? How did your parents meet? Then think, how did your parents meet? So she is well prepared. The follow-on question was tell me about yourself. But because the previous question rattled her, there was a fumble. Interviewers do that because they want to know how you will behave in stressful situations. How, when you are put under pressure, how do you react? How do you take decisions? I mean, one of the questions that I put up is why PGDM, why MBA, why, right? Why BCom? Or why National College? The answer is not National College is one of the best colleges in Bangalore. It's true. Or, right? The answer to that question would be, what is the process by which you took the decision to come to National College? At the end of my 12th standard, I was looking at what I want to do for the rest of my life. I decided I wanted to do BCom. If the answer is BCom, you have to figure out how you took to BCom, right? I decided I wanted to do BCom. I was looking at, I wanted to study in Bangalore itself, and looking at my options in Bangalore, and considering the scores I had, National College seemed to be the best option for me, considering the reputation of the college and the kind of faculty and students that I will be interacting with. So that is the process, the thought process. As managers, when you're working at an organization, you will be taking decisions. Those decisions will impact the bottom line of the company or the organization. Nowadays, the selection process is so rigorous. After the MBA, you may face 4 or 5 different rounds, one of which will be case studies, situation-based, problem-solving, all of those you may face. Or you may face questions like this in your interview. To determine how you will take decisions as part of an organization, they will test you on how you have taken decisions in your life. Right? So show your thought process when it comes to questions like this. Even when you're facing problem-solving questions, the focus is not on the answer of the problem. The focus is on your thought process while solving the problem. That is what they want to know. Okay? Finally, the one thing I would, parameters for evaluation, communication skills, business awareness, need for achievement, attitude towards others, because you'll be working in a team. These are the parameters in which you'll be evaluated, and these are the things that you will have to showcase, right? But the most important thing when you're sitting for an interview, especially in the corporate world, is attitude, behavior. Skills can be trained. Knowledge can be taught. Attitude is very difficult, transformation. So organizations more often will look for people who have a certain attitude and a behavior, because they can train up skills and knowledge. So showcasing the right attitude, the right behavior during an interview would probably stand you in better stead than just knowing everything about a topic. There are lots of jobs where skill is important, right? Your skill matters more than how you behave in a team. But in the corporate world, that's different. You need to show in your body language, in the way you answer. One of my students in his first year right now, the best in the class, one of the best in the class, very well accomplished, great speaker. He's not getting placed for his summer internships. Okay, 40 people in his class. He's one of the 5 people who have not been placed for summer internships. People who academically, co-curricular, much below him when it comes to achievements, have been placed. But he is not, because he's a very quiet, timid kind of person. When he sits in front of the evaluator, he closes up. Panel, you need to show the panel what your stuff is. It's more important. Skills account for maybe 30-40% of your interview, your knowledge. The rest of it is how you portray yourself, which is again why the tell me about yourself answer becomes important. Right? In that answer, don't just repeat what's in your CV, talk about what's outside of it. Okay? So one last round of GD before I end. I think it's 1:30 now. I'm going to pick randomly, or is anyone volunteering? I'll give you an interesting topic, promise. Yeah? No? No? Anyone volunteering? Or I'll randomly pick. Yes, please, thank you. Your good name. Rakshita, please come. Who else? Who else? Who else? What about the gentleman there? No, don't look back. There's no one behind you. Come. Anyone from the previous group wants to participate? The people who didn't speak? You already spoke a lot. Anyone? Okay, I'll randomly pick. What's your name? Siddharth, please come. What's your name? Press one, come. What's your name? Huh? Nawaz, come Nawaz. You had a good point to make for the previous one. Come, you also. What's your name? What's your name, huh? Ravi Kumar, come, Ravi Kumar. You're always welcome. Okay, put the chairs in a row, please, for everyone. Ma'am, who would you suggest? Anyone is fine. Okay. You already came, but you hardly spoke. Come, I'll give you one more chance. Who else? Who else? Who else? Ma'am, what's your name? Shreya, please come, Shreya. Ma'am? No? What about you? What's your name? Yamuna, come, Yamuna. Come. No? No? You already did, but you hardly spoke. Come. Oh, we don't have enough chairs? Okay. I think Yamuna. Do we have chairs? Yes, we have a chair. Okay. The topic is Bangalore is the best city. Topic of the GD is Bangalore is the best city in India. Okay? I'll give you 2 minutes to prepare. Think 1 minute to prepare. You don't need much time to think about it. Bangalore is the best city in India, right? Okay, ready? Yeah? I'm going to start the clock, 6 minutes. I'll give you an indication when 5 minutes is done. On the topic, Bangalore is the best city in India. Your time starts now. It's not on? Yes. No?
According to me, Bangalore is the best city because we have the best climate conditions where we can, there are 4 seasons per year, but we'll have all the 4 seasons per day itself. Morning it will be too foggy and and then next will be sunny. In the afternoon we can feel more sunny and then night will be full chill with rainy seasons. And we have many tourist places over Bangalore where we can visit and enjoy our day completely. So that is what I think.
Due to the vast economic growth in Bangalore city, there are many places like Whitefield, Electronic City, or else Manyata Techmark, which improves, or you may say it as large number of software employees, which helps the economic growth. So it is stated that Bangalore is one of the top economically grown states or cities, whatever which has been placed. So that's the point I would state, if that Bangalore is known as the best city, according to me.
ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಹೌದು, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಾವು ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮೇಯ್ನಾಗಿ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕೆ ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಜೊತೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೋದು ಕೆ ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಮೆಜೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ವಿಧ ಥರದ ಲೈಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ಗಳು ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಸ್ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ನಾವು ವಿ ವಿ ಪುರಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ವಿ ವಿ ಪುರಂ. ಲೈಕ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಫುಡ್ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. So I can tell that Bangalore is the best city for human to improve their skills. Yeah.
Yeah, Bangalore is the best city, and people come from outside because Bangalore is the safest city. And in Bangalore, there are a lot of IT companies to work, so people come from outside to work from here. Sir.
ನಮ್ಮ ಊರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಅಲ್ವಾ? You'll find lots of people here. You know what is the actual thing what a people want to get. ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗದೇ ಇರೋದು ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಜನನೂ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅಮೌಂಟು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ they'll tell ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ?
ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಕಷ್ಟಪಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾ
ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ತುಂಬ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
You're not participating in the GD, huh? After it, you can tell her all the, yeah.
It's still not the best city according to me, but
You can ask her questions
green
after.
city ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ. We have a lot of places to visit over here, so according to me, it's still not the best, but
ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅವರೇನೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿಡೇಟ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ 50 ಲಕ್ಷ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬಸ್ಗಳು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ವೈ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್, ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ನೇಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಆಗಲಿ ಆಲ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ನೆನಪಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ಸಿಟಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ people are mad about Bangalore. They come from different places and they will stay here and they enjoyed a lot. And we have MG Road for it. So people from every part in the namge people sikta hogtare. So we can conclude that Bangalore is the best city for me also.
ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿನೇ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಎಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅ ಡಿಮೆರಿಟ್. ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅ ಡಿಮೆರಿಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರಾಗಿದ್ದು ಮೆಜೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಕು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೇಬ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಷಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ.
Bangalore is the best city because people from different states come and stays in Bangalore, and each and every language people have been in Bangalore, and most of the language people can learn from Bangalore.
Listen to them, yeah.
So whatever they communicate, if they don't know even English or Kannada, they can communicate in another languages. So people are based on that also in Bangalore.
ದೇವಿಕಾ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಆ ಥರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ರೀಸನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಆದರು. ರೀಸನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಮೈಕ್ ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ರೀಸನ್ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೇನೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದು. ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೇಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಇದ್ದು ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗೋರು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿರೋರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳೋದೊಂದೇ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಬಂದ್ವಿ ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಆದ್ವಿ ಬಟ್ ಹೋದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೊರತು ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಮಾತಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ನ ಬೈಯೋರು ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ
Okay, I think I'll end it there. I gave 30 seconds extra because I wanted to know why she says Bangalore is not. Okay? Good. Thank you. Please give them a round of applause. Very energetic discussion, right? I loved how you went through the map of Bangalore and told us why each place is important, and yeah, good. The only thing is, see, being good communicators is not that you need to speak in English. You can be great communicators without knowing the language. I speak in English because thank you. it's not that I don't know other languages, but in a corporate setup, you're expected to know English. I work mostly with students who have to be trained to perform in a corporate setup. So in a GD that you're organizing in the college, amazing that you've come out and spoken, but when you're sitting for a GD for a company, you will have to end up speaking in English. Unfortunately, that is the case right now, right? But in the way you approach the GD, did you enjoy the GD? Yeah. The only thing I would suggest you do differently, just a minute, I'll come back. You were performing for the audience. Most of you were performing for the audience. It was less about the discussion and more about impressing the audience. So in a GD, focus on the discussion itself. She played devil's advocate. This is something that I asked you to do, right? A devil's advocate is someone who defends the devil. That is, even if everyone agrees that one point is wrong, everyone here agrees that Bangalore is good, she came up with I don't believe Bangalore is the best city, because she wanted that discussion to happen. I don't know if she actually believes or not, but in the context, she stood out, right? Similarly, in terms of creativity in how they spoke, your good name? Ashwin and Rakshita stood out in how they approached the topic, right? How they went into certain details, the creative way in which they expressed themselves, they stood out. You initiated, which was good, took the effort to initiate. You initiated, right? Yeah, good. There wasn't much of a summarization. Though I said the 1 minute was up, there was no effort to bring the points together and conclude it. Okay? Keep that in mind, right? You try to bring in stories, things that happened, experiences. Good. Those are great. So bring in different elements. You brought in different points. You brought in the technology and the development and the software aspect. You were the first person to talk about that. So bring in different points, right? Don't stick to one. When someone is speaking about individual places in Bangalore and why it's important, someone else talks about the different people there. All of these are important points that you need to bring into a discussion, right? Thank you very much. Thank you. Great, great performance. So I'm going to stop speaking here, okay? I'm going to stop speaking here. Do you have any questions? We have 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes before the end of the session, right? Do you have any questions regarding group discussion, interview, communication in general? Any questions for me? Anything that I've said that was not clear? Or I'm going to assume that I gave a very good talk and you all understood every word I spoke. I'm going to go away happy. Do you have any questions? See, there are no wrong questions in life, okay? Yes? Can I introduce myself? Okay, sure. My name is Jerin Jacob Matthew. I'm currently the assistant professor for English at the International School of Business and Media in Bangalore. I'm someone who enjoys reading, exploring new worlds through literature and language. I love traveling and meeting new people and experiencing new cultures and eating different kinds of tasty food. That's what I live for, right? My vocation is to train people in using English language effectively to communicate, because it is the language of the world and our gateway into global opportunities. So I gain fulfillment in making people's lives better. My passion is teaching. I love teaching and being a part of the academic environment, and I hope to continue doing this for many, many years going forward. Right? Thank you. Any other questions? Yes? How to tackle nerves in interview? Okay. You will always be nervous, okay? Even in public speaking. When I was walking across the quadrangle to come here, I was slightly nervous. No matter how much you speak in public, you will be nervous. When I started my public speaking thing in school, 7th standard, elocution competitions, all over Bangalore, I used to go, okay? Itara podium irutte, right? So I have a speech written, stand in front of the podium, very clearly speak in English, give speech, come out, win prizes. My knees would be shaking. Okay, like not just like slight trembling, it's like shaking, like it hit the other knee. It was like that. In 8th standard or 7th standard, I don't remember, I went for a competition very confidently. There was no podium. Okay, this classroom like this, standing here. Luckily, judges were sitting a little behind. They didn't see. There were 2 girls, man, pretty girls sitting in front, pointing at my legs and laughing. Okay, after that, I stopped. My legs stopped shaking. Because I didn't, even when they were laughing at me, I didn't stop speaking. You deal with nervousness by overcoming it. You will always be nervous. You put yourself in situations where you deal with that nervousness. Right? Do something that makes you uncomfortable every day. Some of you are comfortable speaking on stage. You introduced me very nicely, right, before the session started. Some of you may not be. You may be nervous about an interview. The only way to overcome it is to keep doing it. Right? Overcoming nervousness is like getting used to spicy food. You eat enough spicy food, you get used to it. It's that way. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Right? If you're not comfortable asking questions in class, ask questions in class. If you're not comfortable speaking to lots of people, during lunch break, sit with different groups. Sorry, excuse me. Right? You put yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable, you will get used to it. It's a nice song, huh? Right? You will get used to that feeling. So even in a nervous situation, because you're used to being uncomfortable and nervous, even when you're nervous, you will be able to perform. The aim should not be to not be nervous. The aim should be to perform well even when you are nervous. That should be your aim. Right? Any other question? I didn't complete my earlier sentence. There are no wrong questions. It's only whether I'm capable of answering your questions or not. Okay? In life, there are no wrong questions. So please, even if you think they're silly, I may not think so. Please ask your questions.
As you said that if you are submitting a CV in front of the interviewer, answering what, tell me about yourself, you should mention our names and detail whatever they in CV is important or not?
Name, see, depends. Do they say, I'm sorry, you're forgetting your name again. Tarun. See, if they say, Tarun, take a seat, they know your name. Right? So then you don't need to say, my name is Tarun, because they already know it. But if they don't say your name and they say, please take your seat, and then they take your CV, then introduce yourself with your name. In the CV, you don't need to talk about, you don't need to talk about your school background. Not important at all. You can talk about your undergraduate. National College is a reputed college. So you can talk about how you are from National College Bangalore, because it adds something to who you are as a person. A graduate of National College stands out from the crowd. So, I'm sorry, few what?
We should try to add few curious conclusion or answers in our...
Curious, see, less curious, more impressive. Right? Impressive things about yourself, but whatever you add, you shouldn't say everything. So your introduction should not be one point that you're explaining in depth. It should be 3 points you sort of explain. Because you've not fully explained, they will ask you more questions on that. You get what I'm saying, right? You don't give them the full meal, you give them an appetizer in your introduction. The tastiest part of the meal you give them as an appetizer, so they'll ask for the full meal. Right? That's what I meant by making the interviewer curious. Right? One more thing I forgot to mention is, whatever you put in your CV, you should be able to defend it or explain it. Don't add a single word in your CV that you're not able to defend. One of my students wrote she has integrity. Her qualities, when she's talking about her qualities, she has integrity. They asked her, 30 minutes of the interview was on that. They asked her a question like, okay, you're working for company A, right? 6 months into that job, you get an offer from company B, which is offering you 1 lakh more. Will you take this job? She said yes. Is this you showing integrity? That was the follow-on question. Right? So you're jumping from company to company, you're not showing integrity. How can you put that in your CV? How can we hire you? The way to respond to that would have been, sir, I don't see anything wrong with that. I have a certain value. I add value to any organization I'm working at. If organization A does not value my contribution and give me the remuneration that I deserve, then I think it is fine for me to move on.
When I work at company A, I give my full. I dedicated to working a certain amount of time. I decided I'd work for 6 months, 1 year. I'll work that time. But if I feel that I am not valued there, if I am not given compensation that reflects my value, then I will move on. I think there's nothing wrong in that. Defend yourself. Even when interviewers ask you difficult question, challenge you, defend yourself. Don't argue with them, but defend yourself. Right? If you've put a project there, in CV, some CVs, there's a heading, projects and something like that, right? Assignments or whatever. They may ask you questions on the project. Like I told you, this Congress marketing project, right? You should be prepared to answer. Like, sir, I did that 3 years back. I don't remember what I did. No, not a solution. Right? So be prepared to defend and explain every sentence in your CV. If you can't do it, don't put it in your CV. Okay? Any other questions? Anything else? Any questions about GD, interview? All good? So tomorrow you're sitting for an interview, you're going to ace it. Great. No, I'm happy to hear that. I'd like to thank all of you for being such a wonderful audience and participating so nicely. Especially thank the people who took part in the GD, right, for participating in it. Thank you, Abhishek, for your wonderful introduction of me, right? And thank you all of you for being a wonderful audience. So I work at ISBN in Bangalore. We have a campus in Tumkur Road. Our main campus is in Pune. Just, you can check out our website to see what kind of management education we offer, right? It's all on experiential-based learning. Ideally, in my class, I wouldn't speak as much as I spoke today, and I wouldn't use a PPT. I make PPTs only for external seminars. Okay, we are not allowed to use PPTs because, according to the college, that is not good pedagogy. Anyway, so if you have any questions regarding what I spoke about today, I think my email ID is, my email ID is jerin.m@isbm.ac.in. You can reach out to me anytime. Can you show the last slide? I'm so sorry. That's my email ID. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Check out our website to see what we do at our college. All the best. Thank you, the management and the faculty of National College, for this opportunity. If you have any questions about what I spoke about today, if you want to speak to me more about anything that I discussed, reach out to me. All the best for whatever you decide to do in your life. All your future endeavors, I hope you find success. Thank you very much. And have a good day. Thank you.
No, they're not. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of all the students and staff, I'm glad to be standing here and to express my vote of thanks. A special thanks to Professor Jerin Jacob Matthew for being with us today and for advising us on the interview, how to tackle an interview. And you were quite impressive. Thank you, sir. And also, I would like to thank our Honorable Principal and Vice Principal, sir, as well as our HOD, ma'am. Thank you.